Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first installment of the Pisces Guide to Pop Culture. I am your host, TJ West, and I just wanted to welcome you all to this little adventure that I'm doing. This video will go out on all the various socials: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and as its title suggests, it's going to be about pop culture, and it's going to be filtered through the perspective of myself, your very own favorite moody, emotionally overwrought Pisces. Because if we know about anything about Pisces, it's that they're emotionally overwrought. So the focus for each episode, which they'll vary in length, 3, 5, 10 minutes, who knows, will be on various aspects of pop culture, movies, TV, books that are about feelings or that make you feel things, whether that's good things, bad things, or anything in between. So for today's edition, though, I'm going to do a little bit of self promotion. So, as you may know, I have a book coming out called Country Road Romance, and it is going to be available starting on June 1st. It is now available for pre order on ebook on Kindle, but it is also available in paperback from Barnes and Noble. If you just Google Country Road Romance TJ West, it'll come right up. Hopefully, it'll be distributing elsewhere. We're just sort of waiting for it to make its way through the system. It is an indie published work, which means I am not going through the traditional channels, which means in turn that you all, as my devoted fans, are playing an even more important role than normal in getting this book into the world. So, to sort of help build up promotion for this book, I wanted to devote this first mini episode of the Pisces Guide to Pop Culture to what led me to write this book. And there are sort of a couple of key things to remember. I was and am a member of the Appalachian Queer Film Festival, and I have been that way in that position for a couple of years now. Doing the first one in Huntington, West Virginia, back in 2023, I thought, oh my God, this festival would make the perfect setting for a queer romance, and I don't know a lot of queer romances that are set in Appalachia, so I thought, well, why don't I just write it myself? And I immersed myself in the world of queer romance, which obviously I've read a good amount, but not as much as I would have liked at the time. And I realized that there's a lot of power to be had in speaking about one's identity as a queer Appalachian. I live on the eastern shore of Maryland now, but as I say on the book blurb, the Mountain State will always have a piece of my heart. And that's what led me to write this extraordinary story between Jared, a struggling writer living in Huntington, West Virginia, and Charlie Garrett, a former West Virginian living in Hollywood who's attained stardom at a basically like a Hallmark Channel type network called the Romance Network, who comes to Huntington to be part of a film festival that Jared is helping to organize. Everything goes sideways once Charlie ends up punching a homophobe, as one does. And after that, they end up going on this extraordinary road trip to Jared's parents' house to kind of get off the beaten path, as it were, and out of the way of perhaps the media that might not be very friendly to Charlie as a result of all this. And in that extraordinary weekend, they fall in love. So that's kind of the gist of the story. If you want to actually read the full thing, obviously you'll need to pre-order the book, which we'll get to that in a moment. But as a proud queer Appalachian, I really wanted to write a story that was authentic to my lived experience, but also that sort of shows that despite West Virginia's reputation for being a little bit socially backward, that there is the potential for other kinds of stories to emerge out of that setting and out of that milieu. And so I thought to myself, well, what better way to demonstrate that than through this romance? And more to the point, I think that part of the other big part of the reason why I wrote this book and why I plan to keep writing in this vein for the foreseeable future is that people living in Appalachia and in other more conservative regions need sort of utopian stories to help them get through the day. Like, I mean, it's no secret that it's very difficult to live in these places, particularly in the current environment. And so in some ways, I see my books as offering an alternative, much like, say, Schitt's Creek or the show Somebody Somewhere demonstrate that small town doesn't have to equate with homophobia. I want to show my readers and potentially even like politicians that there are other ways of being in the world, that there are other ways of organizing society and making small towns and other rural areas into these sort of queer utopias. And that's basically what I'm aiming to do with Country Road Romance, and then another volume I'm working on called Love Lies and Coal Dust, hopefully coming out this fall, is similarly sort of grappling with the realities of what life is like in Appalachia for queer people, while also sort of showing a more lighthearted, fun side to it, and suggesting that there is a place for queer love in Appalachia, and there are happy endings for these characters. That's the great thing about writing romance in particular, is that the romance, the happily ever after, is built into the genre convention, so you kind of know what you're getting. So that's just a little snippet of why I am writing these books and what I'm doing with queer Appalachian romance. Not always a set of words that you hear together very often, and so I really believe strongly in this project, and I hope all of you will as well. Once again, the book is called Country Road Romance, and if you would love to help out an indie author, then I really would love it if you could pre-order it on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, Google, or search for Country Road Romance. TJ West should pop right up. The ebook is available for pre-order on Amazon, so please do that if you can. Or if you want to wait, obviously you could wait till the June 1st release of the paperback, but that pre-order is really important. So thank you so much for joining me for this very first inaugural episode of the Pisces Guide to Pop Culture with TJ West. I hope that you'll return, because believe me, we'll be doing a lot more of these interviews about the book, but we'll be doing other kinds of reviews of various media as we go. So thank you all, and I will see you next time.